Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. In today's world, men are often left confused and vulnerable when a woman they care about hurts them. Emotional pain can cloud judgment, disrupt confidence, and leave even the strongest men feeling powerless. But what if I told you that there is a way not only to protect yourself from this hurt, but to respond with a quiet strength that leaves her wondering and respecting you more deeply? This video will reveal timeless strategies grounded in Stoic philosophy and illustrated by powerful historical examples that will teach you how to maintain your dignity, control your emotions, and turn the tables without losing your integrity. You'll learn how true emotional intelligence can empower you to respond with a calm mind and an unshakable presence. From the battlefields of ancient Rome to the courts of Renaissance kings, men who mastered their emotions and their presence shaped history, and they understood the subtle art of confusing those who sought to hurt or manipulate them. You will discover these forgotten secrets today. Before we dive in, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps us build a community of men who are committed to strength, wisdom, and authentic connection. Get ready to transform the way you handle pain, rejection, and confusion. This is not about playing games, it's about mastering yourself and showing that true strength is silent but unmistakable. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Power of Silent Strength 1. When a woman hurts you, be it through betrayal, withdrawal, disrespect, or emotional coldness, your first instinct might be to react, to raise your voice, to explain, to chase for closure, to make her understand what she did, but that is precisely where you lose your power. The true strength of a Stoic man is found not in how loudly he responds, but in how silently he maintains his ground. Silence, when used with presence, is more powerful than any argument you could make. This is not about being passive. It's about being precise. The Stoics believed that emotions are not inherently bad, but becoming a slave to them is the death of reason. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When a woman tests you or wounds you emotionally, you must remember how you respond defines you, not what she did. Let her feel the silence. Let her wonder what you're thinking. Let her question if she ever truly had your heart. Because when a man pulls back, not in anger but in composed confidence, he becomes a mystery, and mystery commands attention. Second, history has shown us this truth in action. Consider Emperor Hadrian of Rome. After discovering betrayal within his closest circles, including from a woman he once trusted deeply, Hadrian did not erupt in rage. Instead, he distanced himself. He gave no fiery speeches, no retaliation. He retreated into strategic silence, and in doing so, he left others questioning their decisions and fearing his response. That fear, that uncertainty, is more effective than any open declaration of war. This is the first step to confusing someone who hurt you. Don't behave as expected. Most people expect hurt to come with pleading or retaliation. When you do neither, when you remain grounded, calm, and slightly out of reach, you shift the entire dynamic. She begins to see you not as a man reacting to pain, but as a man transformed by it. 3. This is where emotional intelligence becomes your armor. It's not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. You feel the hurt, but you observe it. You don't act from it. You act from principle. And in doing so, you rise above her actions. You confuse her, not by playing games, but by breaking the script she thought you'd follow. When she expected chaos, you gave calm. When she anticipated neediness, you offered stillness. And when she thought she had emotional control over you, you became something untouchable. The irony? The more untouchable you become, the more she feels the loss. Let's take a moment to reflect on one of the most misunderstood kings in history, King Solomon. Known for his wisdom, Solomon dealt with the heartbreak of betrayal multiple times, both politically and personally. In Ecclesiastes, he writes of the woman whose heart is snares and nets, whose hands are chains, and yet instead of cursing her, he withdraws. He writes, he builds, he thinks. He becomes so focused on meaning and legacy that no betrayal could define him. He did not chase for love, he let love watch him rise, and that in itself became the ultimate confusion for those who hurt him. You too must build, not walls, but your world. When she hurts you, build your body, your business, your boundaries. Don't explain yourself. Don't fight for what disrespects you. That is how you confuse her, not to manipulate, but to elevate. 5. In modern dating culture, where constant availability is seen as affection, your emotional distance will speak louder than any love letter. Your refusal to participate in her drama is not indifference, it's intelligence. And intelligent men, gentlemen, are rare. Women don't regret losing average. They regret losing uncommon presence. But here's the truth you must swallow. Some women only realize your value once your energy is no longer available, and some will never admit it, but they will think about you long after you've moved on. Let your silence do the talking. That's how you become unforgettable, not by proving your pain, but by proving you've already outgrown it. Type in the comments, I protect my peace, not my ego. Let her wonder what changed. Chapter 2. Reverse the power by living well. After pain, most men go into hiding. They isolate, overthink, and replay the moment of hurt until it weakens their sense of self. But here's the truth. The most confusing response you can give to a woman who hurt you is not revenge, it's reinvention. When you rise higher, live better, and glow quietly in her absence, you interrupt her belief that she held power over your identity. The Stoic man understands that pain is not the end of the story. It is the invitation to begin a greater one. Epictetus, once a slave and later one of the most powerful voices in Stoicism, taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you are hurt, you have two choices, collapse or rise, but only one of those choices will confuse her and elevate you. Second, let's look at a historical man who lived this lesson boldly, Alexander Hamilton. After a scandal that could have destroyed both his marriage and his political career, Hamilton was publicly humiliated. But instead of crumbling under the pressure of betrayal and public judgment, he returned to his craft. He wrote, strategized, and rebuilt. The Federalist Papers, still studied today, were born during his darkest hours. Hamilton didn't chase anyone to fix the perception of him. He simply became too brilliant to ignore. And that, my brother, is the most effective confusion you can create, becoming a version of yourself that she no longer has access to. 3. When a woman hurts you, the natural masculine energy wants to restore order. But order doesn't mean confrontation, it means elevation. It means putting all of your emotional energy not into chasing answers, but into crafting outcomes. When you start leveling up, physically, mentally, financially, and emotionally, you become what every person regrets losing, the man they took for granted. Your silence, when combined with progress, becomes unsettling. She begins to notice you're not stuck in the emotional loop. You're not orbiting around her anymore. You're creating gravity of your own. 5. Consider the story of Ludwig van Beethoven. Betrayed by love, often rejected and misunderstood, he turned pain into immortal masterpieces. He didn't write angry letters. He composed. He poured silence and confusion into his work, and centuries later his symphonies still echo with the beauty of a man who didn't allow heartbreak to define him, but to inspire him. So ask yourself, what are you building right now with your pain? Are you letting it paralyze you, or are you turning it into a private empire? You don't need to prove anything to her, but when she sees the life you created without her, she will remember. And when she remembers, you will have already outgrown the need for her validation. 5. There's an emotional law that few people understand. What you focus on, you magnify. If you keep focusing on the hurt, it will grow stronger. But if you shift your focus into your discipline, into your vision, into your peace, then your presence begins to mature. And when your presence matures, your energy confuses her. She starts asking, what changed? The answer is, you did. You're not the man she left, or disappointed or hurt. You've evolved, remember this. Your improvement must not be loud. It must be obvious. Not because you showed her, but because she saw it when she wasn't supposed to. This is the Stoic art of transformation. Let her feel the weight of your absence by becoming more present in your own life. The man who is deeply rooted in purpose becomes too rare to replace. And the irony is, by living well, you remove the very thing she thought she had, emotional control. 6. In the end, nothing is more confusing than a man who looks like he should be broken, but isn't. A man who was hurt, but chose to grow. A man who was betrayed, but chose to build. Be that man. Let her scroll past your success. Let her hear your name in rooms you're no longer in. Let her wonder how you became so composed, so rare, so untouchable. And you don't owe her an answer. Your life is the answer. Drop this in the comments. My success is my silence. She'll hear it even if you never say a word. Chapter 3. The Art of Presence. Without Pursuit 1. There's a sharp difference between chasing and choosing. Most men, when hurt by a woman, fall into the trap of pursuit, not because they love her, but because they seek closure, validation, or a sense of restored control. But the truth is, the man who chases loses value, and the man who stands still gains mystery. If she hurt you, the greatest confusion you can offer is your presence without the pursuit. You remain grounded. You do not beg. You do not plead. You do not explain. You simply become a man so anchored in his own energy that she feels your presence long after you've left the room. That is the power of masculine stillness. That is what she cannot understand, because very few men have it. 2. To understand this deeper, let's look back at Julius Caesar. Caesar was once in love with Servilia, the mother of Brutus. After betrayal from her son and questions about where her loyalty stood, he did not seek out emotional revenge. He didn't beg her to pick sides. Instead, Caesar pressed forward into the empire, into power, into legacy. He confused her by doing what most men fail to do. He didn't react to rejection. He redirected it. He made himself the center of gravity. And when a man becomes the center of gravity, women orbit, sometimes silently, sometimes regretfully, but always curiously. 3. A woman expects the man she hurt to act out emotionally. She expects you to message her, to watch her stories, to leave your energy scattered in her direction. But what if you didn't? What if instead you went quiet, not in passive retreat but in powerful detachment? What if, instead of asking her why she changed, you let her experience your absence and reflect on her decision? She may not admit it. She may never say it aloud, but your distance will echo in her mind, not because you ghosted her, but because you walked away with grace, power, and zero drama. The man who can leave calmly is the man she cannot forget. 4. This doesn't mean you disappear out of spite. It means you master your boundaries. You don't give attention to someone who disrespected your worth. You don't re-enter spaces where your peace is compromised. You don't try to fix what someone broke without care. And that's where emotional intelligence becomes your compass. The emotionally reactive man says, I need her to understand how much she hurt me. The emotionally intelligent man says, she'll understand when she no longer has access to me. You don't force realization, you allow reality to teach her. 5. One of the most emotionally intelligent men in history, Leonardo da Vinci, was deeply in love once, but he was also deeply aware of human nature. When he felt misused or manipulated by people close to him, he didn't explode in confrontation. He withdrew. Not out of fear, but out of discipline. He believed that if people didn't recognize your value, you didn't need to correct them. You needed to rise beyond them. And that's exactly what you must do. Rise beyond her expectations of you. Confuse her by becoming the man she never truly understood, but now desperately wishes she did. You don't pursue love that hurts you. You become love that outgrows her. 6. In modern dating, when a man doesn't chase, it sends a message louder than words. It tells her, you cannot play with my time. You cannot manipulate my emotions. I know who I am, and I don't need you to remind me. And that's what drives her mad. She expected you to crack. She expected you to fold. She expected you to keep her on a pedestal. But you didn't. And now, every man who chases her after you only reminds her of how rare your restraint was. That's the lesson she never expected to learn. That's how your absence becomes more powerful than your presence ever was. Let her wonder why you're no longer interested. Let her reflect on why you don't reach out. Let her sit with the realization that she had something rare and confused it for something replaceable. She thought you'd come running, but you built your throne and never looked back. Comment below. I attract by presence, not pursuit. Let her feel what she lost without a single word. Chapter 4. Make her memory. Compete with your legacy 1. When a woman hurts you, she often expects to linger in your story. Not because she wants you back, but because she wants to know that she mattered. She wants to be remembered, even if she never fully valued you. But here's the truth. When your legacy becomes more memorable than the relationship, her memory begins to compete with the man you've become. And that's the most confusing thing you can offer. A life too powerful for her to understand and too elevated for her to re-enter. You must become a man who turns pain into performance, wounds into wisdom, and heartbreak into heritage. Not just to get over her, but to become untouchable by anyone like her again. 2. Take the example of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor of Rome. Though he suffered personal losses, betrayal, and intense grief, he never let it define the outcome of his reign. He used the pain as the firewood for his inner strength. His meditations were written during war and sorrow, yet they speak of calm, balance, and resolve. That's what confused his enemies, and even his allies. They expected a broken ruler. What they got was an unshakable one. This is your call. Let your heartbreak be the foundation for your empire, not your excuse for collapse. You confuse her not with bitterness, but with brilliance. 3. When you become a man of legacy, your name begins to travel. Your energy is felt in rooms you've never stepped into. Your absence starts to teach lessons your presence once tried to explain. And she realizes too late that while she was playing games, you were building your garden. One of the most powerful emotional shifts you can make as a man is when you stop needing someone to complete you and start becoming the one no one forgets. When your life becomes more meaningful than the relationship, you break the emotional contract of pain. 4. Do you know why many women come back years later asking how you've been, checking your stories, liking your posts? It's not just nostalgia, it's confusion. The version of you they knew was never supposed to become this refined, this peaceful, this radiant. They expected your downfall. You gave them your rise. They expected you to remain stuck. You became a monument to resilience. You must understand this is not about revenge. It's about elevation. It's about becoming so disciplined in your craft, so locked into your path, that she cannot mention your name without also mentioning your strength. 5. Think of the story of Frederick Douglass. Born into slavery, denied dignity, separated from his first love, he could have folded into bitterness. But he educated himself, escaped bondage, and became one of the most powerful orators and writers in history. His legacy stood taller than the pain, and in doing so, he confused every soul who thought they could break him. You don't need to explain your evolution to those who hurt you. You need only to live it so profoundly that their actions are reduced to a footnote in your greatness. So ask yourself, what are you leaving behind? What do people say when they say your name? Is it pity or power? You confuse her when your life becomes more unforgettable than her love. 6. In the end, your best response to pain is progress. Your best revenge is success. Your most effective silence is greatness. You must build a life that doesn't need to look back. A life where she might visit your memories, but never again occupy your space. Let her compete not with other women, but with the legacy you're building. Let her remember the man you were and realize too late the man she'll never access again. You are no longer chasing love. You are becoming the kind of love the world rarely sees. Not desperate, not broken, but whole, wise, and walking forward without apology. Comment below. My legacy is louder than her memory. Let her hear your silence echo through everything you've become.